Why is our marriage falling apart? What happened to us? Are you asking yourselves this question? Did your husband, did your wife just ask you that very same thing? If that's where you are right now, I want you to hear this. You're not crazy. You're not a failure, but you do need to pay attention to what's actually breaking down underneath the surface. I'm going to walk you through 8 of the most common and fixable, note the addition, fixable, reasons that I see marriages unravel, even between people who still love each other and would say as much out loud. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, you two stopped prioritizing each other. It doesn't happen overnight, but somewhere along the way, work, kids, errands, in-laws, family, hobbies, everything else gets your best energy. Your spouse then gets what's left, if anything. You tell yourself you'll reconnect later. We've all been there, done that. But later turns into weeks, then months, and then years. Here's the truth. A strong marriage doesn't happen on accident. It happens when you treat your relationship like something that matters. So ask yourself this. If someone watched your life for a week, if someone watched me, if someone got into my calendar and got a hold of my calendar for 7 days straight, would they be able to tell that my spouse is a priority to me? If not, it's time to fix that. Reason number 2, you stopped spending meaningful time together, and meaningful being the key word there. Yes, you're still in the same house. You might even fall asleep on the same bed. But being physically next to each other doesn't mean that you were emotionally close. Marriage can survive distance. What it cannot survive is disconnect. The couples that I see drift apart aren't fighting all the time. They are just busy. Busy with all the tasks. Busy and overwhelmed with all the schedules. Busy with just plain survival. And then one day you realize that you've become 2 people that are managing a household and a family instead of 2 people that are actually sharing a life. That's when the foundation starts to crack. Reason number 3, you believed the lie that the little things don't matter. And I don't know who said it to you. It doesn't matter whether it was on subconscious or conscious level, but you believed it. You used to say thank you. You used to reach for their hand. You used to send a text message just to say, hey, thinking of you. But somewhere along the way, those little things got swallowed up by the day-to-day. And now you barely notice when they're gone. Here's what I tell my couples. The little things aren't little. They are the things that make up the relationship. They are the things that feed the magic. Every single smile, every single compliment, every single kind gesture. They are all a deposit into that proverbial marriage account. When you stop making those deposits, the whole thing goes kaput. The whole thing goes bankrupt. Reason number 4, life took over and you lost your rhythm. Looking at your spouse, if you're honest, and you tell yourself this, we used to have a rhythm. Maybe it was Friday night date night, or morning coffee before the kids woke up, or Sunday afternoon walk, and you took the dog sometimes as well, or a bike ride and a beer on Saturdays. And then life happened. Sports schedules, work trips, sleep regressions, state competitions, parent-teacher meetings, all the things. And you never found your way back. But here's the secret. Healthy couples, they don't wait for the time to open up. They know that it won't open up on its own. They make it happen. They protect it. They say, this is our time, no matter what. No rescheduling, no canceling, no exceptions. And they mean it. Or they decide together, here's what constitutes a real exception, and we treat it this way. There's the obvious, somebody needs to be taken to the emergency room, as an example. Or another example, less obvious, you have somebody visiting from overseas and they're only here once every 10 years. We make an exception around that. And here's how we then reschedule that time for you and I that week. Reason number 5, you don't know how to bring things up without it going sideways. You have stuff on your heart, on your mind. You want to bring it up, but every time that you do, it ends up in a blow up. So you stop doing that altogether. But avoidance doesn't fix the issue. It just plants seeds of resentment. Here's what's usually missing. It's not what you say, it's how you set it up. Here's what I want you to try. Can we talk about something? Is now a good time? I don't want to fight, but I want for this to bring us closer. That one sentence can lower the defenses by half. The goal isn't to win the conversation. The goal is to stay connected while you work through it with your spouse. Reason number 6, you confuse solving the problem with seeing the pain. Not every hurt needs a solution. Did you know this? Sometimes your spouse doesn't want you to fix it. They want you to feel it with them. But we miss this all the time. Even with my husband and I, it just happened a couple weeks ago and we just celebrated our 19th wedding anniversary. We miss this every so often still. One person will say, I feel alone, and we say, I'm here. How can we fix it? That's a solution, right? But it skips the steps where you actually see them. Try this instead. This is what works better. That makes sense. I would feel that way too. I would feel alone in that situation as well. Or even if I wouldn't, I hear that you are feeling alone. It's simple, it's disarming, and it makes your spouse feel like they're not crazy for having the emotions they're having. That's what brings the healing. Reason number 7, you've been operating as roommates, not as partners. You coordinate carpool, you talk about the bills, you figure out who's grabbing the groceries that week. But when was the last time that you felt like a couple actually? Here's the thing. You don't fall out of love overnight. You drift apart through thousands of neutral interactions. Roommate mode is fine for functionality, but love needs something more. It needs affection. It requires laughter, inside jokes, emotional availability. And those things, they don't just show up unless you make space for them. Reason number 8, you've waited too long to ask for help. By the time most couples reach out to somebody like me, they are already exhausted. They've tried everything and then they stop trying. Or they haven't tried anything, but they're still so exhausted that they can't even see themselves starting to try. And often it's not the marriage is too far gone, it's that they've been quietly drowning for years. Listen, if your leg was broken, you wouldn't wait 6 months to see a doctor. But we treat our relationships like we should be able to just figure it out. Here's the truth. You don't need to hit rock bottom to ask for help. Sometimes asking early is the very thing that saves you. So if you've been wondering why your marriage is falling apart, now you know. It's not just one big thing. It's 1,000 small shifts left unchecked. The good news, you can shift back. I've seen it over and over and over again in this office. You can shift back. You don't even have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it intentionally. And if you are in the thick of it and conflict is hard, I've got a free guide called 15 Things Not to Say to Your Spouse During a Fight. It will help you de-escalate, reconnect, say what you really need, and figure out what it is that you should stop saying without blowing up the conversation. The link is below. Grab it. It's my gift to you. And don't forget to subscribe. We're all in this together. I'll see you in the next one.